Happy Monday, building science geeks. It's me, Mariana Pickering, co-founder of Emu, and we are here for our third session weekly of Monday BS, building science. And today I'm going to dive right in. We're going to talk about fRsi values, or temperature factor, it's sometimes called, which is a specific type of thermal bridge related to internal surface temperature. And this can be somewhat complicated. We have a good blog article on our website that gets a little bit more into the detail of the science behind it. I'm going to focus pretty high level here today, just on the concepts behind it. But I'll put the link to the article in the notes so that you can go read that if you have any more questions. So the fRsi factor, sometimes called the fRsi value or the temperature factor, it's a dimensionless number ranging from 0 to 1, so it's a decimal point. 0 represents the one extreme where the temperature at the internal surface is the same as the temperature outside. So if you can imagine, when it's a cold winter's day here in Colorado, you go touch that metal window frame and it's super cold on the inside. That's probably closer to the 0 end of things. Whereas the other extreme, a temperature factor of 1, would be the ideal condition where the internal surface temperature actually corresponds and is equal to the interior temperature of the room or of the building that you're inside. So in an ideal condition, that would mean you have a super consistent, thermally comfortable temperature inside the building to the degree that the internal surface temperature of the window matches that. So you may be wondering, why should I care about this? Especially folks who've been in the construction industry for a long time have never heard of the temperature factor. Why am I worrying about it now? Well, a lot of that is because construction is changing a lot. We are building more and more airtight. The more high performance you're building, the more you really should be looking at things like this as far as avoiding mold disasters, which is a pretty typical problem that we're seeing in the construction industry right now. So really, the closer we get to high performance, passive house level construction, the more you really want to focus early on in the design phase on how to mitigate some of these things, prevent the conditions that would eventually lead to mold and condensation and therefore bad indoor air quality. The higher performance the product, and when I say product, I mean the building. And I think that's an important mentality shift that's happening right now in the construction industry and needs to continue to happen. We need to start thinking of ourselves as product designers. We are creating a product that performs to a certain level. But the more highly engineered that product becomes, the more we rely on modeling, simulation, ways to fail faster in the design process to see what's not going to work and what to eliminate, so that we're not doing that process on the construction site, which is much more costly as far as time and materials. So I'll leave it at that for right now and keep this fairly short, but remember that the temperature factor, or the fRsi, is referring to a thermal bridge specifically at an internal surface, looking at the internal surface temperature. If you'd like to read more about this, check the notes. I'll put a link into our blog article about this topic. It links out to some other related thermal bridge conversation points if you want to go down that rabbit hole. Just a quick heads up, next week I will be doing my Monday BS from the road. We'll be in Austin, Texas. We've been invited by the wonderful folks at the Montopolis Community Center to come down and do some passive house training. So we're going to have a group of about a dozen builders doing 2 days of classroom, 2 days of workshop, and then they're all going to take their accreditation exam to become a certified passive house tradesperson. We're going to have a little celebration there on Friday afternoon. So if you're in the Austin area, please reach out and we'll make sure you get to come by and check out the pods, ask some questions, and yeah, it'd be good to hear from the building science community there. Thanks, everybody. Remember to leave me any suggestions you have for passive house or building science terminology that you want me to cover in our next Monday BS session. Thanks.